All right, welcome back. Take a look at those numbers. The new monthly unemployment numbers are out. And guess what? We're still at a whopping 9.1% with just 103,000 jobs added last month. Our special panel here to discuss what's going on this morning, Susan Solovic. She's the author of It's Your Biz, the complete guide to becoming your own boss. A lot of people could use that right now. Thomas Policis, he's the CEO of John Thomas Financial. And Rob Basso, author of The Everyday Entrepreneur. People could use that also this morning. Nice to see all of you.
Great to see you.
Susan, I'll start with you. You look at those numbers, 9.1%. You see those 103,000 jobs added. Any silver lining to these numbers? What do you make of them? Is there a good sign in the jobs sector? Will businesses start to hire more now?
No, absolutely not. Small businesses aren't ready to hire. In fact, the Small Business Optimism Index has dropped for 6 months in a row. Small businesses are very concerned, but if you look at those numbers, they're really misleading. The effective unemployment rate is really over 16%. People who have just stopped looking for jobs or people who have accepted part-time underemployment and given up looking for full-time work. So right now, small businesses are saying, you know what, it's not getting any better. We don't see it getting any better. And they aren't going to jump in and hire just because the federal government says you need to hire people. They're going to only hire when it makes sense for their business.
Well, maybe the answer is President Obama's jobs bill. He says we need to do it. Take a listen.
There is no doubt that the economy is weaker now than it was at the beginning of the year. We are taking out an insurance policy against a possible double-dip recession.
Tom, do you buy that double-dip recession unless we pass the president's jobs plan?
No, it's more grandstanding. I don't think that if we don't pass this jobs bill, we're going to go into a double dip. I think right now, if you look at the economy as a whole, you know, what happened to creating jobs from entrepreneurs? I mean, look at the entrepreneurs like Apple. You know, they employ over 50,000 people, a couple of 100,000 across the world that buy, live, sell Apple's products, and it didn't cost this country anything.
Rob, answer that question. That's an interesting point that Thomas brings up. Obviously, the death of Steve Jobs this week. Everyone thinking about what it means to be an entrepreneur. Your book about the everyday entrepreneur. How does someone who's sitting there thinking to themselves, I can't hire anyone, I can't do anything, how do you get the kind of innovation that it takes to become an entrepreneur in this market?
Well, what I'd like to hear from some of our politicians is a little bit of inspiration. Inspiring the entrepreneurial spirit is not what they're doing right now. This partisan politics is actually hurting job creation in America. Here's a really good example. We need to get back to the innovation that Tommy was talking about. You look at a guy like Ken Davenport. He's a Broadway producer. He's reviving the show Godspell. He used the crowdsourcing method to raise millions of dollars to put a Broadway show up and put hundreds of people to work. That's American entrepreneurism. That's innovation. That's what we need to get this country back on track.
Susan, is the president's plan the answer, or is it a short-term solution?
It is a short-term solution. What we need for small businesses to gain confidence is a long-term solution. That means really less regulatory burdens, a simplified tax code, more access to credit. And I'm going to play off of what Rob said right here. We need to give private investors incentives to help entrepreneurs get businesses off the ground. Just in the last 10 or 12 years, the number of startups creating jobs has dropped dramatically because we do not have a policy agenda that is a pro-growth agenda.
I'll let you guys handle this there. All these companies sitting on enormous amounts of cash.
Sure.
Why?
You know, right now,
not hiring.
They're not hiring because they feel they're shackled. I mean, the entrepreneur should not feel shackled. You should let him go out there and do what he does best. That's create jobs, which increases productivity, which overall helps the economy. Unfortunately, this has been the worst jobs recovery since the Great Depression. Why? Because of the anti-business policies of this administration.
Well, we also have to remember that when people are looking to hire, they need to have a reason to hire. And if they don't have these jobs and orders and stuff lined up, there's no reason for them to put people on. The reality is, last time I checked, an entrepreneur is not going to hire people unless he actually needs to hire people. They're going to keep pressing their human capital to the absolute brink until they can't work anymore and get productivity at them. That's why hiring's not taking place.
And I will just add to what Rob is saying here. Small businesses understand financial management 101. We understand that we can't spend more than we have coming in. So you can have low interest rates all you want, but small businesses aren't going out there to look for that funding because they know that there's not really a projection that says they can pay it back.
The federal government can spend more than they take in. Maybe.
Absolutely.
Maybe small businesses should learn something from the federal government. Guys, great to have you on the show this morning, and great insight. Thanks so much for
Thank you very
discussion.
much.
Coming up here.